Good Friday morning, everybody. We are getting ready to start. I think next week is officially the midpoint of the semester. So you're halfway there. We're getting it done. So this next week, next 2 weeks, we're going to be actually looking at vitamins and minerals. And the way it's split up is we're going to first this week start looking at kind of just an overview of what are the vitamins and minerals, and what's the bioavailability, what impacts the ability to absorb them, what are your best food sources, and then really breaking them down into functional units. So we'll really be looking at the vitamins and minerals in terms of this week, we're going to look at like the role of electrolytes in the body, look at deficiency or toxicity of sodium potassium chloride, how that impacts muscle contraction. A lot of people talk to me about getting muscle cramps, and potassium is kind of the notorious one to take for muscle cramps. There's also some effect of magnesium in terms of muscle function. So talking a little bit about that. Quite a bit of information about antioxidants. Why are antioxidants so important? And then also vitamin A and the visual cycle. So that's kind of what we're going to be hitting on in this next week. Some great information, some great videos in the book that kind of walk you through some of these processes. The discussion this week is and I just wanted to point out, because I've skipped around, I'm saving the energy balance information until after the next block test, because it just fits well to do energy balance, which is actually unit 7. We'll be hitting on that after we do the vitamins and minerals. You'll have the block 2 test, and then we'll hit on energy balance. It fits better paired up next to physical activity. So that's why I'm kind of pushing it over. So we are in module 7, but you're reading unit 8 in the chapter, just to kind of make sure you know that. The discussion this week is kind of fun. I'm looking for you to be a little bit creative. And what I want you to do is to come up with your own case study. So I want you to think in terms of, what are some of the deficiency symptoms that you would see with any of the vitamins or minerals? So not just the ones we're talking about this week. And so basically you're going to come up with a fictitious, I should say, person, and come up with, some symptoms, maybe put in there the kind of diet that person eats. You can kind of Google vitamin case studies to get maybe some ideas. But the goal here is for you to kind of put in there what that person would be eating, what are some of the symptoms, and don't put the vitamin in there, obviously. So you're going to post that. That's going to be your initial post. And then classmates are going to come in and try to guess which vitamin it is and put that on there. And then at the end of the week, I want you to come in and let everybody know which vitamin it is. So let's see who comes up with the most creative case study this week. Kind of an exciting one to do. So that's kind of what we have up and coming. I want to say this week is a bit light in terms of work, so you get a bit of a breather. The reading is always still quite a bit there. So really you're looking at kind of reading the material, doing your overview and conclusion, the vitamin case study, and then always the quiz. Coming up next week, so you get a break from doing these diet analysis projects. Next week, we will hit on doing your diet analysis, looking specifically at vitamin and mineral deficiencies and where you might find issues in terms of what those would cause in your body. But you get a break this week, and really it's the reading, the discussion, all the videos that are in there, and then taking the quiz. So hope you guys have a great weekend. Please reach out if you have any questions. I know you're still finishing up the protein and dietary analysis of protein. I know you guys are all still finishing this up. Some of the questions that I've received on this were related to, let's see here. This chart here, I think this was a little confusing. On this one, remember you're calculating your RDA based on calories, total calories. So if your total calorie intake our goal is 2,000, then what would 10 to 35% of those calories in protein convert it to grams? And that's going to be this number that you have here. And I think I've shown you how to do the calculations here. So, right. So it's pretty much the same as you've done for the previous two. My example here is using 2,000 calories. You're going to use however many calories your goal is. multiply it by 0.1 to get 10%, and then convert those calories to grams. And then 35% convert those calories to grams. And as I told you, I think last week in the video, really when we really look at how much protein you need, we base it on your weight. And, we base it on an ideal body weight. So if, say, your weight is above a BMI of 30, you might look at what your weight would be at a BMI of, say, 25 and base your grams of weight on that. If you've already done your current weight, that's totally fine too. But oftentimes, like if I'm doing an assessment of a patient in a hospital, I'm going to pick what would be an ideal weight. The thought there is that if you have excess body fat, that body fat doesn't actually utilize more protein. So we wouldn't necessarily need to meet the protein requirements for somebody's extra weight that has body fat in it. So you don't have to do that for this. You can just pick what your body weight is, calculate it out that way. And then, so you're calculating what your weight is in kilograms. So that's your weight in pounds divided by 2.2. Here's your weight in kilograms. And remember, when we're basing your protein requirements on weight, 0.8 grams of protein. So just less than 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. So here's where you're getting that 54 grams. So there's the RDA based on calories up here that you calculated, and then based on weight. So when you come down to this table, that's why you have these two numbers that you've identified. Your intake from your GB Health report is going to be the same. So the weight base, whatever you're eating is going to be the same. So how much total protein are you eating? These two numbers will be the same. And then above or below recommendations based on this. And that's kind of where that's coming from. So just wanted to kind of point that out because I had a few questions regarding that. Other than that, it seems like everything's going good. You guys are keeping up, and great discussion posts this week. I know it was a little bit of a different discussion, but I've been enjoying looking at some of the things that you guys are putting in there, and I will enjoy hearing what everyone has to comment on each other's posts. Have a great weekend. Reach out with any questions that you have. I'm always available.